On this highway we are following whoever, whatever that will. Let's be sure of the friends we make. Always think first when I'm gonna share or give it all away. Always think first. Always think first.
Hi everyone, I'm Rico, I'm Programme Coordinator at Interfilm, and for today's show we are being joined by Malcolm Richards from New River College, Gareth Cort from Childnet. We're going to be talking about internet safety, which is obviously a huge issue in schools, and hopefully this webcast will explain to you how to keep your students safe online and the resources that can help you to do this. So hi guys, first of all, welcome, thanks for coming in. Malcolm, first of all, can you talk to us a bit about how internet policies are being implemented at the school and through the resources we offer as well?
Yeah, of course. All right. So in my school, we, I guess as a starting point, any new student needs to sign an internet usage policy. Now, lots of organisations have those, and it just kind of gives you some general guidelines about what to do when you're using any online resource. So that's the first thing we do. But there's also a whole wealth of legal responsibilities that we as schools and as teachers have, and we have to adhere to those, and we make sure those are enforced. Sure. I guess most importantly, we just encourage positive and safe usage of the internet with our young people, and that's through reinforcement and with education.
Excellent. Gareth, can you tell us a bit about Childnet and what they do with this?
Yeah, sure. So sort of following on from Malcolm, Childnet's mission very much is to make the internet a great and safe place for children and young people. So we do that by highlighting the positive aspects of the internet. Yeah. And we go into lots of schools and we speak to children anywhere between the ages of 3 and 18. And we talk about all those positive sites and services that they love to use. And then we talk about practical advice they can put in place to look after themselves on those services. We also work behind the scenes. We work with lots of figures in the internet industry, so Facebook, Twitter, Google, all the big service providers for broadband. We try and work with lots of different organisations to make sure they're offering safety features for young people as well. And we are also the UK Safer Internet Centre, and so we are responsible for organising Safer Internet Day and all the resources and the messages that you can deliver to pupils as well.
Safer Internet Day, 11th of February.
Absolutely.
That's today, brilliant. And it's important to stress the positive aspect of social networking, isn't it? Because there's obviously a reason why young people are so interested in this and spending so much time on there. So I think from that positive thing, you can get dialogue going and it all helps. Brilliant. Okay. So on that point, what do you think are the best things about social media? You, Malcolm, first.
Social media is absolutely brilliant. For me, and I guess for a lot of the young people I work with, it's all about knowledge. You can go onto the internet, you can use a search engine, and you can pretty much access anything that you want to access, whether you've experienced it before or you haven't. You can just go, type in a word, and you're generally going to find something that relates to the thing that you're looking for. If you've got different interests to lots of other people, you can again find a community or a group of people who are interested in the same thing. Like-minded individuals. If you're interested in film, there are hundreds, millions of resources available to you. So just from that point of kind of being able to look at and find knowledge, get something that you're interested in, I mean, the internet's absolutely fantastic for that, and so is social media.
Would you echo that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There is just so much out there now, particularly for young people, but also offering platforms for their skills and their creativity as well. So if they are budding filmmakers or actors or actresses or musicians or have skills in another area, there's just so many avenues now for them to upload their own content
I was
and get it
about to
noticed
actually
online.
ask you, I mean, it says here you and I were teenagers long before social media, which was a little bit insulting. But how do you think life is different for young people now? Do you think it's changed a lot?
I think the biggest thing to bear in mind is that whereas before we had friends and those friends were only ever offline and we knew them from school or from local community or clubs or family or things like that, the difference for young people now is they're making friends online, and there's this whole notion of having people that you're considered to be friends, but you've never actually met offline at all. So it's really important for them to also think very carefully about the kind of information they're sharing with those people, and always remembering that actually in the back of their minds, it doesn't matter how much that person's told them about themselves. If they've never met them in the real world before, then that person is still technically a stranger. So they need to be wary of that. And of course, as we said, there's loads of positive information to find out there on all these sites and services, but they need to be wary that because anyone can upload this information, they may have different points of view, different opinions, and sometimes they can lead young people down the wrong path with certain beliefs. So they need to be wary and critical of the things they search for.
The context of everything and where it's coming
from.
Very
much so.
Okay, cool. Obviously, Malcolm, you touched on some of the legal aspects. Do you have any particular rules and guidelines for safe internet use in your school?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of touched upon a few of them there. I think the most important thing is, and it's kind of, I guess, one that we kind of, to a certain extent, drum into the young people. Yeah. If you don't know somebody, and I guess it echoes exactly what you've just said there, then there's no real reason why you need to be communicating with them in an online forum.
Yeah.
Very much as you would do with a complete stranger. So I think reinforcing those kind of messages is really, really important, as well as using a whole wealth of the resources that are available to us just continue educating our young people.
Continue educating, absolutely. And the issue of cyberbullying is obviously quite a large one. Are there any particular issues your students have with social media through this, and how do you help them address that?
Yeah, I mean, cyberbullying is a massive deal at the moment, with a number of different platforms that are available to some of the young people, that from tablets to mobile phones to just using a standard computer. I think, again, echoing that message, if you don't know somebody, you don't need to speak to them. But I think one of the most important things is, if you are a victim of cyberbullying, it's really, really important to tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
Ideally, a parent or guardian or an appropriate adult, maybe a friend, but absolutely tell somebody about it.
Because things could quickly escalate if you're not.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there's lots of people who are available to help with that kind of situation.
So to keep kids aware, young people aware that there are support networks out there.
Yeah, and I mean, lots of the social networking sites and the social media sites have links and pages and contact details, which can also assist with that.
That's good that they've got that conscience to do that. Brilliant.
Absolutely. Can I just echo?
Yeah, please do.
It's precisely what we say. Is it's so important to make sure that young people do feel they can talk to someone if they see anything or have anything said to them that worries them online. And as Malcolm rightly said, by telling them, that's the first step in sorting out that problem, as is using the report or the help buttons on different sites and services. But also really critical to keep all the evidence that they might be sent as well, be it text messages, emails, photos, contents of a website, because then that forms the proof, or in the case of law-breaking activities like death threats and other things said online, that then forms the evidence that police can then follow up on. So really important to save those things as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for building on that. Brilliant. In terms of our resources, Malcolm, is there a particular film that you choose to watch from the resource, creating dialogue on this around film? Is there a particular film?
Yeah, I mean, I'll hold the resources up, but I mean, certainly as a teacher, with national curriculum changes, which are due to happen in September, some of the links and the resources in here are absolutely vital in terms of
one of those up for the guys, everyone can see there.
Helping educators support their young people in terms of cyberbullying and understanding some of the things that we're talking about today.
So we've got sort of curriculum links here, as you can see, the purple one, and then there's the teacher notes toolkit as well. So look out for those on the site.
But in terms of actually engaging young people, certainly the resource kit includes the film Catfish, which is really, really relevant, and has already touched upon some of the things that we're talking about. I don't want to spoil it because we want young people to...
It's one of those with the spoiler, isn't it?
Yeah,
you've got to watch it.
But a lot of the narrative and issues that are touched upon in Catfish absolutely relate to a lot of the things that young people sort of tell me, and I think tell us, about their experiences with the internet and social network. And so certainly, Catfish is the one for me.
It's the uncertainty of it all, isn't it?
Definitely.
Just because you're seeing images representing someone doesn't mean it bears any reality.
Absolutely. I think that's the big thing. People may make contact with you. They may build dialogue with you, maybe even try to build a relationship with you and send you images and use language which becomes familiar, but they're not necessarily the person they claim to be. And that's really important to highlight, and Catfish does that in a great way. Good
stuff. Good to hear. And the resources themselves, how are they explicitly useful in the classroom?
I mean,
particular elements that you...
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've got film, and you can use short segments of films. And what's really great with this resource kit, they use time codes.
Yeah,
so it gives you
save time.
Save time. You can use a very small part of a film, which will really reiterate a point that you want to make, whichever point that is. In addition to that, there are flashcards, there are worksheets, and so as a teacher, when we're strapped for time and that sort of thing, we've got a resource kit where we can go and photocopy some information, get it ready for our young people, and then we can use a lot of the stuff in here as a starter for discussion points. So I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Lovely. Those are all available on the website, so do check them out, people. Great. Gareth, we'd love to know a little bit more about what's going to happen on Safer Internet Day, the 11th of February, and also a bit about what schools and teachers are doing to ensure that young people are vigilant around this and are staying safe online.
Sure. So, yeah, absolutely. So Safer Internet Day happens every year on a day in February. And there's a theme for every year, and this year's theme is Let's Create a Better Internet Together. So it's very much taking a positive approach to things, really giving young people a chance to highlight the best of the things that they love to do online, but also think about those creative aspects and avenues that we talked about earlier. And you can support your pupils with those. We've got education packs free to download off our Safer Internet Centre website, which is www.saferinternet.org.uk. And you can then download the packs. You can run an assembly in school. You've got quick activities. We've got drama activities activities for the first time this year to
Wow.
really highlight.
Bit of role playing?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff.
We've got other bits and pieces and posters to highlight the event, and it's just a great way of getting involved and really spreading these messages out. And as Malcolm said, with your packs as well, encouraging discussions about this area.
Absolutely.
And by
It's a start, isn't it?
starting those discussions, that's when you can start to get those messages out to your pupils and get them to start to make really positive decisions for themselves online as well.
So being comfortable about talking about things.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Great. Leading on from that, we're actually going to watch an example of a student-made film on sexting and e-safety, and this is called Nice Pics. So take a look at the clip. Great, welcome back. So, Malcolm, what do you think young people particularly, can learn from this short film, Nice Pics?
Yeah, I think Nice Pics is a really, really interesting resource because I think it gives a real sense of some of the panic and peril that a young person can feel when they're the subject of any kind of sort of bullying or cyberbullying. So just the way in which the film flows, I think it gives a really, really, really clear sense of some of the disorientation and some of the challenges that young people face. And I guess it kind of leaves you with that question of, what shall I do? What shall I do next? I think we've spoken about it quite a lot, but tell somebody.
It's like the emotional impact, but on a day-to-day level, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
In a situation they can understand. Great. Gareth, a question for you. Where should people go as the first port of call if they want to get further information on anything we've talked about today? What would be the best place to go first?
Well, I'd highly recommend checking out our Childnet site, which is childnet.com, and we've got lots of resources for teachers and professionals, but also for young people and for parents and carers. Going back to the film that you've just seen, sexting can often be quite a difficult topic to talk about and broach in schools. It can feel quite awkward. And we actually have some resources on our website to help teachers do that. One's called Picture This, and it's actually a drama-based resource with a script for acting out a sort of sexting scenario, but also understanding the implications of the law behind it, but also aspects like peer pressure, emotional and psychological damage, and reputational damage as well. And then the last element of the script is actually left unwritten, so that the pupils, once they've learned everything about it, can then apply the knowledge right at the end of the story and come to their own conclusions about the incident.
That's good, because it's not kind of putting the ending on them. They can come up with something that they feel will be relevant to them.
Absolutely, so a great way of demonstrating what they've learned and picked up throughout the process. We also have a really useful resource on our Safer Internet Centre website that I mentioned earlier, and it's quite wonderfully titled "So You Got Naked Online," and it is a sexting leaflet giving
We've
lots
all
of
been there.
information and advice about this topic, and it's written for young people, so it's a really nice accessible resource. If they don't feel they can talk to an adult about it straight away, then they can obviously access this and get the information that way.
Oh, that's brilliant. And it's great to hear about both the resources that you've got there and how you're using them in school as well, Malcolm. It's been fantastic talking to you both. I've learned a lot. Unfortunately, we have run out of time today, but thanks very much for coming in. And thanks for tuning in, everybody, as well. And hopefully you enjoyed hearing from Malcolm and Gareth. And it's been interesting. Having said that, it's only the start, really. We want to keep this discussion going. So please check out our message board and all the resources that are available on the website. And all we've got left to say is goodbye. Goodbye from us.